And welcome to another edition of Triad Today. Coming up later on our infamous Roundtable, Ursula will be here to tell you about a special event that they're having. And since Don and Dave will be on hand as well on the Roundtable, and they're both county commissioners, they'll give us a little insight on what kind of chance we stand of getting Amazon to bring 50,000 jobs to our area. All that and much more, plus a visit from a very special person with the Z. Smith Reynolds Foundation and the owner of Woods of Terror, of all things. Lots of variety on this show, but we start out talking about community service. And I don't know of a better community servant to do this conversation with than this guest who's been with us before. We're always glad to have her. On my right, Cindy Gordonier is, of course, President and CEO of United Way of Forsyth. We welcome you back to the program.
Nice to be here.
Thank you, my friend. I think you sent me an email one day, and it was talking about an overall theme, and it said, "United we fight, united we win." And it really kind of got me revved up, and I'm wondering, I think I know what that means, but what do you want it to mean?
Well, we understand that the challenges in the community are things we need to fight against, that we can't passively stand by and hope that they will solve themselves or just go away. And so the united part of it is that it's going to take all of us, that these are community challenges which take a community to solve, and assuming that any one organization, one institution, one group is going to be able to do that is not realistic. But if we are united in our fight, we'll be united in our win.
You know, and getting to know you over time, I know that since you took over, you've sort of tried to focus on how to help the community, and you know, it might be everything from attacking the problem of homelessness or hunger or whatever. There's so many things that need work. And I think I read a quote from you one day about how you wanted the broader community to get involved in the work that United Way is doing. Again, I'm going to ask, what exactly did you mean by that?
Well, that's a great question. I think that, we've been known as a workplace campaign that you give to United Way through your workplace.
Fill out your card and go on.
Right. And so we're trying to be a little more careful about making sure people understand what it is they're giving to and what the impact on our community is. But we also know that there's a lot of people who aren't in those workplaces, and that the challenge is, again, you've set me up nicely, is that these are big problems that no one organization can solve alone. And it is issues like hunger and homelessness and education and a future opportunity and things like that. Those are all interconnected in people's lives. And so it takes multiple types of services, organizations, and stakeholders to be involved in that. And so we need the community to be engaged in all of this work as well.
A lot of barriers to try to knock down that people have to overcome, and they have you to thank for being in there to marshal the resources and work with other agencies to try to do that. Let me get you to brag on yourself a little bit, or the organization anyway.
I was going to say, not on me.
On the organization. Over the past year or so, if I ask you to just say a couple of quick examples of successes, what would you consider to be successes?
Well, I would say that in the last, couple of weeks, we've learned that our graduation rate has gone up again. It's at 86.5% in Forsyth County. When we started investing in education and targeting high school graduation, it was at 70.7%. So we're about 16 percentage points ahead in 10 years. And each graduate has a different future. So there's 3,807 more graduates today than there would have been at the graduation rate of 2007.
That's great.
Each of them are expected to earn $400,000 more in their lifetime. That's a $1.52 billion effect on our community. And we've only invested $10 million in that work, so it's 152.
See, no, but I've never had that explained to me like that. I know what economic impact is, but when you really do the math on, okay, what if these students never graduated?
Right.
But what if they did?
Well, and there's a lot of things that are not economic impact. They're expected to live longer. They're expected to have children that will graduate.
Right.
They're expected to have much less risk of incarceration. There are a lot of other benefits that come out of that.
Yeah, the residual effects.
And we're really proud to be part of it.
And I'm proud of you for what you're doing. Up on screen, Forsyth, UnitedWay.org, and for our radio listening audience, Forsyth, UnitedWay.org is the website. Please check that out. And Sydney, thanks for dropping by. I know you're busy, but thanks for stopping by for a few minutes to share that with me.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, don't be a stranger. We'll be right back after this. Triad Today, one of my favorite people is here with me right now. We're glad we could get her away from work for a few minutes to be here. And on my right, of course, our good friend Wanda Back. She's Director of Workforce Development and Continuing Education. She wears a lot of hats over there at Randolph Community College. Welcome back, dear.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Happy to be here.
Before we get into the thing I want to talk to you about, you've been here before and we talked to people about summer camp and the armadillo thing. How did that go, looking back on it?
It went great. We received a lot of positive feedback. Parents said that it was very organized, especially for the first year. The staff was friendly. Their kids loved it. The kids, their feedback was great. They just wished it would go on longer. In fact, my favorite one of the kids said, "Can you figure out how to do it Thursday, Friday, and Saturday too?"
Yeah, the whole thing, and 364 days a year. Well, of course, it wasn't just fun activities. I mean, you exposed them to some things that the kids can sort of think about, and maybe that might lead them to want to come to the community college later, right?
Absolutely. We had classes in cosmetology, and those were some of our most favorite ones: basic hairstyling, nail art, pottery, theatrical makeup, illustration.
You had some technology stuff too,
We
right?
had lots of tech stuff. Yes, we did. Around the game of Minecraft, 3D video games, just design your own mobile app, all kinds of things. So
and you never know, out of those kids, outside of doing the other physical activities they were doing, you never know. They might just show up one day at your door and come to Randolph Community College and say, "Hey, I was exposed to this at camp. I want to get more into computers or something."
Exactly.
Do you think, well, I don't want to put you on the spot, but do you think this is something you're going to continue year after year, is have the camp?
That is the plan. We're going to take the feedback that we received and look at the classes that went over really well and determine which classes we want to offer next year and tweak it, make things better based on the feedback. But yeah, we definitely want this to be an annual thing. So.
All right, now, when you're here, and I always give your title, Workforce Development, I have had one person stop me one time and say, what do you mean workforce development? So can you give like a short answer? What is workforce development?
Sure. We help folks to improve their skills. So it could be somebody who is already employed. We work with employers to try to train their employees in different skills that they like for them to have. It could be somebody who's out of work and needs some skills to help them get back into work.
All right, now I want to throw out just a couple of things before time runs out on us and have you, because there's a lot of programs that you're offering at the college. One is landscape painting. What is that?
Yes, with Henry Bowers, our local artist and historian. He actually is doing a class in teaching people how to paint landscapes, and it's plein air, which means it's outside. They do it at Lake Lucas in Asheboro.
So they're very inspired by the scenery, and then they do some painting. Now, what about, there's another one, I'm just going down a list of some things that you emailed me. Pharmacy tech, is there a big demand for pharmacy techs?
There is, and our class prepares students to take the pharmacy tech certification exam, so they actually will be nationally certified when they come out of it if they pass the exam.
Now, I'm somebody who doesn't know much about technology, but there's a thing called QuickBooks, and there's Advanced Excel, and I'm thinking to myself, do you help people understand these?
Absolutely. QuickBooks is, a lot of small businesses use QuickBooks for their finances, so that's what QuickBooks are, and then a lot of corporations use Excel for various things.
And then people can also take a course in medical coding. What is medical coding? C-O-D-I-N-G.
Yes, so that's someone who wants to work in a doctor's office or a hospital to document the procedure that was done and be able to get it over to the insurance company so that it's coded correctly and they can get paid. The insurance company will know how to pay for it.
You just got a wide variety of things. Anything you want to mention real quick? Anything else?
Well, we do also have a class coming up for caregivers, which is only $5. It's called How to Get Off the Emotional Roller Coaster. So, caregivers go through a lot. So a lot of times they deal with emotional highs and lows, and so this will help them to know how to deal with that.
That's great.
It's October the 19th, 6 to 8 p.m.
Now that leads me to, I want to put up the website on screen for both the viewers and the radio audience, randolph.edu, www.randolph.edu. You can go to that, find out all the things that are going on, all the things that are being offered, and very quickly, when can you register in general? When's a good time to register?
Anytime. We have these classes beginning at any time. We don't necessarily follow the curriculum set semester, so we may start something in the middle of a semester. So the best thing to do is go to our website, see what classes we offer and when they start, and give us a call if you're interested.
Wanda Back, thanks for all you do.
Yes, sir. We appreciate you.
All right, we'll be right back. Now on Triad Today, we have a first-time visitor to the set, but not to the studio, because she's kind of comes around and helps us with some segments sometimes when we're talking about the Z. Smith Reynolds Foundation, but we're glad to get her in front of the camera this time. On my immediate right, I wanted you to see Shaheen Sayal. She is a Director of Communications with Z. Smith Reynolds Foundation, and thanks for being here today.
Thank you, Tim.
First, let's just remind people, in case they've just moved into the area or don't know, just give me a brief sort of thumbnail sketch of what the mission of Z. Smith Reynolds Foundation is. How would you describe that?
The mission of the Z. Smith Reynolds Foundation is really all about improving the quality of life for all North Carolinians. So the foundation is a statewide private family foundation.
It's been around forever.
It has been for 80 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's about my age, I think. I'm getting close there. But yeah, it's and very well respected. I think it was one of the first in the state, and has always had that mission of serving people in the state too. I want to ask you about something that I did not know about until you sent me an email, and that's the sabbatical program.
That's
now,
right.
I know there was a time, it probably has nothing to do with this, but I filled in for several semesters at UNCG for somebody that went on sabbatical, and I taught for them. But when you talk about a sabbatical program in terms of the foundation, what does that mean? Tell me about it.
Sure. Well, often the most creative and inspirational leaders in the nonprofit sector are so committed to the work they do that they just get burned out. And so the Z. Smith Reynolds Foundation in 1990 established a sabbatical program really to honor North Carolina's nonprofit leaders and let them have a break from work so that they can come back with renewed energy, newfound momentum. We currently offer up to 5 sabbaticals every other year. And this is intended to give folks about 3 to 6 months off to do anything that's not related to their work.
So this would be somebody that's at the head of a local nonprofit or somewhere in North Carolina, an executive with a nonprofit that's been there. I guess are there certain criteria, because there's so many nonprofits. I'm sure a lot of people would like to take some time off and sort of refresh themselves, but how do you determine who's going to get it?
Absolutely. Well, folks who are eligible are individuals in paid full-time executive level positions. They've served in their North Carolina nonprofit organization for at least 3 years, 2 in an executive level position. Okay. But preference is given to folks who've been in the organization for about 5 years.
Right. Now, I don't know if there's an answer to this or not, but if I am lucky enough to get this sabbatical through you, do I come up to you and say, hey, Shaheen, do I get any stipend? Do I get compensation while I'm taking off, or is this just I'm on my own?
Right. Well, the wonderful thing about this sabbatical program is that the foundation honors these nonprofit leaders by awarding $30,000 grants to each of the 5, yes.
Wow.
Up to 5. Wow. In addition to that, the foundation has also put in $10,000 for the recipient's organization so that they can help with transition and planning expenses while their leader is away.
Wow, you really thought it out.
Yeah, it's
and
great.
Well, no wonder so many people want to apply for this thing.
It's a wonderful program. It's one of the first of this kind in North Carolina, and it's a very unique opportunity, and one that we hope that North Carolina nonprofit leaders will take advantage of.
Because no matter how good you are at what you're doing, especially these nonprofit leaders, and we have a lot of great ones, and we have one on the show today, Sydney Gordonier, who's a great nonprofit leader with United Way. But no matter what, I mean, they can get burned out. They can get so far in the weeds in helping people.
That's right.
That they need time for themselves. And I just think this is a great thing. Now, when's the next time, you said every other year or something, when's the next time I could apply?
Well, actually, sabbatical applications for 2018 are available now on our website at zsr.org.
Okay.
The application deadline is November 2nd, 2017.
I'm going to write this down. November 2nd is the deadline, and I'm going to give that website one more time, www.zsr.org for our radio audience, zsr.org, and by November 2nd. And they can go on there now and find out what they need to do to send you, right?
Absolutely. And sabbaticals will not be offered again until 2020. So if there are folks who are interested in applying, now's the time to do it.
I think it's a great program. I didn't know about it. Thanks for doing this.
Thank you.
And thanks for coming here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Good to get you in front of the camera for once. All right. We'll be right back after. On Triad Today, it's just about the Halloween season. I mean, it's kind of a long season when you want to celebrate it. And I have a man with me who celebrates it big time and makes a big impact on the economy around Greensboro by doing so, helps a lot of people, employs a lot of people. And he's a scary dude, too. On my right, Lori Bates, let's see him. Eddie Maclaurin is owner of McLaurin Farm and Woods of Terror. He's the owner of Woods of Terror. Welcome again, sir.
All right, thank you for having me.
People can see, now for people that just moved into the area, what's the name of your character that you're dressed as?
My name is Bone Daddy.
Bone Daddy, and you created that.
Yep.
And if they go on the website, which we'll give a little later, they will see that one of your trademarks is to have a big boa constrictor, but you did not bring the boa.
I left her at home today.
Left her at home. Because sometimes the studio sort of freaks her out. And plus, I think she ate my foot one time. But anyway, this is, I tell you, I went behind the scenes at Woods of Terror, and this is something people at home never see. You go out, you get scared, you have a good time at Woods of Terror. Back behind the scenes, it was like a military invasion, a Broadway show. I mean, I couldn't believe all the work that went into that. You hire a lot of people.
Yeah, we're pushing about 175 every night we're open.
And plus, you got regular staff. I mean, you've got the people that dress up
Yep.
as monsters and.
We have 100 actors, and it takes about almost another 100 to all the management, parking lot, security, midway, maintenance. It just takes a lot of people to get it right.
Now, your season, I'm going to call it a season, would start when and end when?
Well, in September, we're open every Friday and every Saturday. And then in October, we're open every Thursday, every Friday, every Saturday, every Sunday.
Okay, as you get closer in. And sometimes you even stay open right after Halloween, right?
Yeah, we'll be open in November. I think it's the 3rd and 4th this year, and that's called our Terror in the Darkness weekend, and we cut out all the lights and you go in through the pitch dark.
Yeah, I feel like that every time I walk into my house. Never know, it could be a surprise waiting. Yeah. I know what I was going to ask you. People that go back every year to see it, they love it. But then you also hear people say, hey, I'm going back for 2 reasons. One, because I love it, and the other because I've heard they have such and such as a new attraction. Okay, because every year you sort of add a little something. Yeah. What's new this year?
Well, the biggest thing we got is our 3D house has been totally revamped or redesigned. We have a huge Calypso scene in the pirate section, and we got some other added things that in the fun house that'll be a shock to them, a secret I can't tell them.
All right, well, yeah, okay. Let me ask you something here. Normally people would say, well, Eddie surely wants everybody and anybody to come out there. I think your mom, Lynn, was telling me the other night, oh yeah, we had like 4,000 people here at one time, whatever, big crowds. But this isn't for everybody, is it?
No, we do recommend 13 and unders probably should not come. And it depends, you know, if these kids have seen all these horror movies and they love it, they can come out. But we don't let 5 and under in at all. But we do suggest that it's 13 and up. We don't want to ruin their Halloween and give them a bad time. And this is for adults, and it is scary. So.
Yeah, it is scary. Now, you've received a lot of honors personally and for the Woods over the years, and you do a lot for the community and whatever, but just for the Woods of Terror, I mean, you've been named as one of the best haunts in the country and all this. So I know, take yourself out of it for a second. I know it's hard to brag on yourself, but what makes the Woods so special that you keep getting all these honors?
Well, the one thing is hard work. If you decide to work hard and you want to do something, make it happen, it'll make it happen. You know, I am in my 26 years.
That's right.
So a lot of people think it happened overnight, and it didn't.
And your mom helps out a lot too.
Oh yes, my mom is incredible. She managed my midway, and what I was going to say is the people. The people that I have, from the maintenance staff to the midway staff to my actors, it's all about the people. And these people are very talented, and a lot of times I got to get it out of them.
Yeah.
But I've got a very good staff, and I couldn't do it without the people. You know, I can build the sets and make them look good, but if we don't have the right actors and the right scares, it ain't going to work.
What, before time runs out, I've always wanted to ask you this. What frightened you as a kid? A certain movie, a certain monster?
My father.
Your father frightened you?
No, he was a very disciplinarian, and I was scared of him, but he done right by me. But probably my fondest memories are Poltergeist, and the clown coming out the girl.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
That was probably my most favorite movie as a youngster.
But it scared you?
Yeah, you know, it was scary. You was like, my goodness, the graves come out of the ground. So I didn't get to watch a lot of horror movies as a kid, but that was probably my most fondest memory. Was
I'll tell you what, well, you're giving a lot of people a lot of great memories now. Up on screen, the website, I'll say it for the radio audience as well, www.woodsofterror.com. If you check that out, there's all sorts of information about parking information, admission, you know, when you can come and what you ought to do and all that good stuff. Eddie, thanks for dropping by. I know you're busy as a bee, but thanks for doing it.
Thanks for having me.
All right, man.
All right, thank you.
All right, I'm still frightened. We'll be right back after this. Back now on Triad Today, just about time for the Roundtable. A couple of quick plugs. If you go to triadtoday.com now, you can watch this show if you miss it or whatever, which is weird because if you missed it, how would you know? But anyway, it's up there. And also Longworth at Large, my column comes out on Tuesdays in Kernersville News, Wednesdays on Yes Weekly. And so I hope you'll check that out. Now, on my right, filling in for Ogie Overman, if you can ever do that, or even if you'd want to, is Ursula Dudley Oglesby, who heads up, of course, Dudley Beauty Corp. She's going to have a special announcement for us in a second. Next to her, Dave Plyler, our good friend of 140 years, who's on the County Commissioners, Chairman of the County Commissioners in Forsyth. Next to him, his cohort on the County Commissioners, and also a High Point University professor, Don Martin. Don and Dave, let me hold you guys in abeyance for a second. Ursula, Congratulations, first of all, on Dudley having their 50th anniversary, guys.
Thank you. Thank you very
That's
much.
very good,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
And now on September 23rd and 25th, what's going on?
So we've got a big anniversary event at the Marriott in the Embassy Suites by the Benton Convention Center. And we've got cosmetologists coming in from all over the world to help
Right.
celebrate with us. We've got classes.
Did they
We
make
have-
me look any better?
Absolutely.
That's, I don't even know what she meant by that. Well, that's good. I want people to check that out. And congratulations to you
Thank
and your dad, mom, and everybody. Dave and Don, here's a question just for the two of you. I feel like I'm running a game show here, but since you guys are county commissioners in Forsyth, a lot of news has been going about this possibility of Amazon locating another headquarters. They're in Seattle. They would bring 50,000 high-paying jobs to wherever they go, but the of course, requisite is that there has to be a metropolitan area of 1 million people. Can we pull this off, and is it possible? Dave, you start.
I think we can. I think we should try, and I think we have as good an opportunity as anyone in the state. The competition is New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, San Diego, and that type of thing. But Innovation Quarter, for example, would be a great place to locate because that's what they're doing already. That'd be a good idea.
And Don, you have some ideas on where they might locate to?
Well, I think our mega site in Randolph-Guilford has been developed for about 3 years, is huge, would accommodate exactly their acreage requirements. And a lot of the, I mean, it's like ready, almost shovel ready. And
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
pretty important criteria when you're looking at relocating.
And unlike Congress, who can't get anything done because they're so partisan, you guys don't mind working with the other counties if we can pull off 50,000 jobs.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, let's get to something general for everybody, and that is that 3 female doctors are now suing Carolina's Healthcare down in Charlotte because they're being paid less than male doctors performing the exact same duties. Guys and gals, does this pay disparity surprise you in this year, 2017, and who wins this case? Ursula.
Unfortunately, it does not surprise me because there's a lot of pay inequity going on right now. I don't know who will win, but if they're doing the exact same jobs, I think that the female doctors have a good chance.
I think they'll prevail, all right?
Sometimes you have to walk a mile in someone's shoes to figure out who's saying what and what's the fact. And we don't know the facts until after the trial is
But all things being equal,
all things being equal, they should not be paid less.
all right, Don.
Yeah, all things being equal, I think that they would get the same thing. But Dave is right. The issue in terms of facts of the case will be very hard to parse out in terms of doing the same job.
Okay. Yeah, I guess you go back over personnel. Well, Ursula, you hire a lot of people. You have to go back over personnel records. It could be a lot of stuff we don't know.
Right.
But anyway, okay. In her new book, Hillary Clinton is blaming everyone in the world for why she lost to Donald Trump. She blames Donald Trump. She blames Joe Biden. She blames Obama. She blames the Russians. She blames the FBI. Once and for all, guys and gals, let's put this to rest. Who's to blame for Hillary losing, and could her continued sniping hurt the Democrats next year? Ursula.
I think that Hillary Clinton knows that Hillary Clinton is the largest piece or largest reason why she lost the election. And hopefully, I think the sniping will stop and we can move on to something else because the election is over.
Mr. Plyler.
I don't think it's anyone's fault. She didn't blame Bill, and Bill was her predecessor, so to speak. But the fact is, the people of this country chose someone that spoke their language.
Okay, Don.
Yeah, I absolutely think she has to take a lion's share, and then there were a lot of other factors, but I do think it's hurting the Democratic Party. I think this is a bad time for them.
All right, since we're all broadcasters, Jamel Hill, and I really like Jamel and what she does on ESPN, but as an anchor, she tweeted that President Trump is a white supremacist. Now, whether or not he is it appropriate for any TV anchor to voice their political views, and should she be fired? Because some people have been for less than that on ESPN. Ursula.
I don't know if she should be fired for it. I do think that TV personalities have to be careful about where they voice their personal opinions. I think it's okay for them to have them, but I think it's important to not voice them while you're on the job.
And if you have and Dave knows this too, if you have a commentary thing like I do at the end of the show too, or if you've been, if your boss or whatever said, go ahead and do it, and that's a whole different thing too. Sure. Dave.
If you're hired as a journalist, that's what you're supposed to do is don't take sides, because this is not he said, she said. It's a factual report as close as you can get it.
Right.
So I don't have a problem.
And all of us are commentators on this roundtable, so we're not really constrained by that. Don, what do you think?
Well, the only one who ever was really a good commentator and kind of got away with it was Paul Harvey.
Harvey, yeah, Don.
Well, that's true. I actually think that the branding and standards of behavior. I think when you're a broadcaster, you have a different standard of your behavior. And I think ESPN has to evaluate how that impacts their brand and whether that's appropriate and how they discipline her.
All right, and from the serious to the sublime, as we end up on this, a North Carolina mom has invented a spray that will attract mythical Bigfoot. Guys and gals, the spray sells for $7 per can. Would you buy a can of Bigfoot spray, and do you think a special scent can attract a big hairy man? Ursula.
Oh my goodness. I don't think I want to see a big hairy man. No, thank you.
Yeah, we're going a little longer on this. I got to get some answers here, Brian. Dave.
P.T. Barnum once said, there's a sucker born every
So
minute.
you're not buying a $7 can?
No.
Don.
Not buying it, but I do think a scent can attract a big hairy man.
Well, Ursula didn't want to comment on that. By the way, all right. I don't know about you three. Anyway, Ogie and Keith will be back later. But I'm glad the three of you came. I appreciate you doing this today. Sure. That's about all the time we have. Oh, except for this. A 35-year-old Oklahoma man proposed to his girlfriend last week while being arrested on 6 felony warrants. Asked by the cop, "What made you think of marriage on the way to prison?" "Word association," said the man. And for all, I think I just got in trouble with my wife.
I think so.
Yeah, Ursula's looking at me funny. For all of us here at Triad Today, I'm Jim.